Hey, how's it going? Excuse me. As you may have guessed by the ridiculous crap in my head, it's the holidays in my part of the world. That being said, whether it's the holidays or not, wherever the hell in the world you are, and whatever God you pray to or don't, marry something or other. I hope your life is bringing you some joy and some, time with people who make you happy. You know, health and well wishes and all that stuff. I mean that, and I'm saying it because, as you haven't guessed by the title of this video, I'm not a fan of Christmas, really. And despite what my shirt might suggest, I generally try not to be an asshole, so marry something or other. That being said, from the bottom of my heart, bah humbug. So gather around the fire and let me tell you a tale of me a little bit so you get my perspective and can see Christmas through my cheap sunglasses. Then tell you a tale of maybe why people, myself in particular, might not particularly enjoy the holidays. And if you don't get a personal marry something or other from me this time of year, please don't take it personally. If you say it to me, I'll say it back to you and I'll mean it too. But I'm probably not going to initiate because, to be honest, I'm sort of bitter about this whole Christmas thing. See, it was to what? I'm tired. I had to get up, earlier than I wanted to and go eat turkey with people. It was good. I had a nice time and everything. I'm not bitching. I'm just saying that I haven't slept really that great, and that makes my mouth not work so good sometimes. Well, fuck. Blubber-tongued squirrel. There you go. It's first. You were here to see it. Congratulations. God, now it didn't take long at all. It was the night of Christmas, and all through my house, no one was around. Just me and this louse. I put on a silly hat and sat down in GTA and thought I'd make a random squirrel and talk to people, say hey. There were no stockings hung by the fire with care, just dirty socks thrown everywhere, and occasionally some dirty underwear. And the poem kind of stops there because I can't remember how the rest of the story goes, and I have no idea how the beats of it are, and blah blah. God damn it, Christmas Squirrel, that's 2 in a row, first minute and a half. It's going to be a random one. So me and Christmas, well, me. Brought up as a child in a world that was filled with imagination, the reading of stories like the Chronicles of Narnia and Lord of the Rings, and a lot of stuff by Piers Anthony, who's an author I don't see around too much. Born the month Star Wars came out, the original, and saw all those movies and was taking all the Disney movies that came out, certain adult movies, and not every kid went to see E.T. when they were like 5. Don't be wrong, scared the shit out of me. We had to leave before the end of it, but I made it all the way to the scientist kidnapping E.T. and all that freaky shit going on, and it was just too much for me, but it didn't scare me or anything. I was just a little bit loud. And, my parents didn't want me to disturb anyone else, so it was more of a courtesy thing. But I was fine with it. I understood why I was scared, and I knew it was just a movie. It wasn't real. I didn't have any nightmares or anything. And god damn it, E.T. Squirrel, that's 3 in 3 minutes now? Should make this a drinking contest. It's the holidays. Every time I get tripped up by a squirrel, you take a shot or a toke or whatever, Try not to kill yourself or hurt yourself. If you're having fun and shit, go with it. I'm not going to be too strict to try to stick to the topic in this squirrel. It's more of a holiday ramble because I'm sitting around on Christmas by myself. So we'll get back to the whole Christmas thing. Fuck. So when I was a kid, Christmas was awesome. Snow, go look around at the Christmas lights and the snow, especially at night. It was awesome and magical. And Santa would bring you stuff, and it was cool. I was like 7 or 8 when I kind of figured out that Santa was not real. But up until that point, Christmas was, a magical and joyful time for me, and even when I got a bit older. I had a stepbrother that would be there every other Christmas, and of course, being in school, he always got 2 weeks off, so you get a vacation, got to go sledding. Every other Christmas I had a guaranteed front around for a couple of weeks, so that was awesome. So I got along really well with my mom's common law guy's son. So I guess he wasn't legally a stepbrother. I don't even know what the hell to call that, but we considered each other brothers and still do, although we haven't really been in communication. So there was that. Friends were off. It's easy to find people that are into the same shit as you when you're a kid, because kind of all kids are into more or less the same stuff. Simpler beings, simpler times, I guess. But back to the imagination thing, as I was always raised, to have an open mind and to seek explanations behind fantastical seeming things, and perhaps find that there's a possibility, hey fence, perhaps find a possibility that there's a way that they might be real, like, for example, starships and Jedis. Oh, hey. So, I knew about starships and Jedis, but I also knew about planes worked, and I knew about, martial arts, various societies, not just Asian ones in particular, but in particular, a lot of the Asian ones talk about, life force and chi, and the movement and control of energy as part of the mastery of their martial arts. And I could see the connections myself between that and Jedis, and things like the Chronicles of Narnia, where the kids are always finding, secret doors to other worlds, and stuff like the Goonies, where they basically went, in the basement of an old diner and found a pirate cave and sailed out of it in an old pirate ship. I mean, I knew that shit wasn't real, but there was always a part of me that kind of hoped that maybe someday I'd stumble across something like that. And, when I was 6 or 7, or even I think 8, maybe I was 9 when I figured out Christmas was kind of a hoax. There was always Christmas to me. Like, okay, there's this magical thing that happens at Christmas where suddenly shit just shows up in your house that you ask for. And you didn't have to do nothing for it except kind of behave yourself and be a decent person so that, you would piss off Santa Claus. And I thought, okay, well, if this fantastic shit in movies happens, and there's all this beautiful lights and snow and all this magical shit happening at Christmas time, there was always for me a more real possibility that at some point in my life I might encounter what I would consider real adventure. Something that would be the experience that kind of forged you through fire into the being you were, never-ending story, or fuck Lord of the Rings, that kind of thing. I mean, obviously I knew I wasn't going to go off on some quest to slay a dragon or something, and I didn't really have any grandiose sort of saving the world kind of thing. It didn't have to be about that for me. It was just about something different happening. Something that wasn't just the everyday, kind of hard, materialistic, sort of mathematical, unimaginative reality that we generally tend to exist in as a collective society. Go to work every day, do the same thing every day, punch a clock, exist by a rigid clock system. That's really sort of imaginary. We have to keep adjusting it all the time to keep up with the actual sort of organic motion of the planet's abandoned Prius squirrel. Rock out, dude. Alright, fuck. So Christmas was always for me kind of a confirmation of the existence of magic in the world that was real when I was a kid. And sort of finding out, come on buddy, let's go. Sort of finding out that was a crock of shit. I think it really made me sort of bitter. And it was like the last piece of magic had gone out of the world, and it was like that it was kind of the moment that my childhood sort of died. Don't get me wrong, I still have an imagination. I can still have fun. I can still immerse myself in a story that takes me elsewhere. Which is why I love things like video games. Excuse me. So, and it's one of the reasons that I absorb myself quite so much in them. Sometimes too much to a degree. Especially because I tend to be a bit of an introvert and I don't open up easily to people. And I find when I put myself in an environment where I specifically meet only people that are into similar things as myself, I don't find myself forced into conversations about stuff that I don't really care about. So aside from the bitterness of the discovery of the hopes of Christmas stealing the magic of the world from me. God, that sounds bitter and dark, doesn't it? Listen, it's not, bad as they make it out to be. Sometimes it is. This Christmas is especially weird for me too. It's my first Christmas without my mom. Or without really any family that I have contact with. My stepbrother's not really around anymore. My mom and his dad fell through a long time ago, and it's been definitely irreconcilable differences between them. So they're not around anymore. And most of the friends that I used to hang out with that used to have the same time off of school usually are like me and wind up having to work. I've been lucky that there's been no snow, so I don't have to plow it. But now they're all busy with their own families, and many of them have kids that are still young enough that they're sharing the existence of magic and Christmas through their children and kind of seeing the light of it in them and having family time, even if it's only a couple days that they get off from work. So for them, Christmas is still a thing. For me, I don't really care. My friends know that I care about them all year. I try and make it a point to say it every once in a while, because I'm not generally a real talky guy. People who can play with me online sometimes for a couple hours, I might say 3 words. They'll at some point ask me, "Hey, Shake, you got your mic muted?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "Oh, I didn't know you were still there." It's like, "Yeah, I'm still here. And I just didn't have anything to say. I was playing. I was immersed in the world, driving around, thinking about shit or something. Or too busy shooting people to talk, right? Or in Dark Souls, too busy concentrating to put together a sentence that makes any sense." Dark Souls Squirrel. Well, listen, if you did turn this into a drinking game, it didn't turn out as bad as we thought it might, so hopefully you're just pleasantly buzzed now. And maybe you're just as lost in this thread of thought as I am and didn't really know where I was going anyway, so you don't care that I fell off the tracks. Maybe it's not a long train ride. Christmas ain't all that fun for me. Doesn't mean I'm, miserable all the time. Just Christmas tends to be a little lonely because everybody else is off doing their own thing, and I'm not always big on hanging out with kids and strangers. I've done the whole thing about how I feel about kids in another video, so I'm not going to go over it again. Their kids are awesome, sacred, should be cherished and nourished and grown and allowed to become beautiful people. And I don't mean that in a materialistic sense, of course. But that aside, I find them tiresome to be around because it's tiresome for me to kind of interact with them on their level. Like, it brings me no sort of sense of personal sort of enjoyment or satisfaction that way. So, to be honest, and without malice, I simply said they bore the shit out of me. And quite often they make a lot of noise and it makes it hard to have a conversation, which, I happen to really enjoy. It depends about what. There's people out there like me that are kind of introverted. They're not necessarily introverts all the time. They need somebody who engages them. You can get them talking for hours. I'm the same way. But another one of the drawbacks of Christmas is there's 2 kinds of Christmases with other people's families. There's people who try to emulate the postcard, showcase family-friendly Christmas special moments. And some have some success in it and some others, but the problem with those encounters is they tend to come with a lot of rules. You're dressed a certain way and dinner happens in certain stages and you have to sit at the table, usually on an uncomfortable chair if you've got a bad back like me, for a long period of time, and you have to try everything and, eat some dessert whether you really want some or not, because people are like, "Oh, well, you just have to try it," and yada yada. So it becomes this whole great procession. I just haven't got the time for all that pomp and circumstance, to be honest. It's definitely not my sort of thing. Then we have Christmases like with most of my friends and families when I do participate, which is kind of my kind of Christmas, which is a very pragmatic Christmas. People show up, say a very brief, heartfelt, but kind of almost sarcastically self-aware blessing or toast, something simple like that. And that's cool. I appreciate that. And if you're not in the mood for saying grace or you're not religious and it makes you uncomfortable, they're not gonna like make you feel obligated or ask you all kinds of uncomfortable questions. But there's always the inevitable, well-meant, genuine questions from people I find, especially in the generation before mine. Because for them, they identified very much more through their jobs and careers and their life paths that way, because it was more emphasized in the culture they grew up in, for starters. Plus, I think people perhaps had a greater opportunity. You know what? I was going to say people had a greater opportunity to do what made them passionate, but that's not necessarily so, because you think about it, there was a lot of restrictions. Especially if you were male or female, that had a genuine impact on your career choices until not very long ago. Damn it. Social history squirrel. Alright, so you're going to be pretty good buzzing by now. That's what, 5, 6 squirrels? Doesn't help that I'm driving really fast in the snow. I'm Canadian, so it's okay. I know what I'm doing. Kind of. Okay, you know what? I did say kind of. I need to stop for a sec. Take a breath. I need to realize I'm sort of done and I've begun rambling because I have nothing better to do. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with my squirrels and are wondering why the hell I've been blabbling on for 20 minutes and I haven't blown shit all up, no, don't worry, I'm not threatening to kill you. Wrong weapon. I'm going to make you happy, and I'm going to blow something up with some fireworks, and wish you all a humbug. And, fireworks are happening. Yay, it's Christmas. Hurrah, whoopee. There. And my hat blinks, so there's your Christmas for you. Hope you like it. Genuinely hope you're happy. Don't stop thinking. Be excellent to one another. And have a good one.